Hello YouTube, welcome back to my third video. So in this video, I will teach you how to keep coding on your game and improve it. So now from the last episode, we have got this, and from last video, we got this game. So as you can see, it is working pretty fine. The player is taking damage, the player can move around, the player can throw a bomb, and the player can shoot laser bullets. So So basically, basically that's all. However, you can see a problem here. So the health points or the HP of the player is negative, but the player hasn't died yet. So so for this, you need to sort of make a death screen. Now, when flat click forever, if if HP is less than 0, then stop all. So so we will test it out. So as you can see, enemies are shooting, the player is taking damage. So when the player health is like what this code does is that when the player's health reaches below 0, the game will stop. So yeah, it is like this. The game will stop completely. So instead of stopping, we want a death screen. So you can make any death screen you like, but I will keep it simple. A black screen, then a text saying that you died. Switch color to any color you like, and I prefer the red color. So move it to the center and then press shift and drag it to appear. Now, now when flag click, go to 0, 0. So that will prevent our desk screen from moving into random places. So when flag click, go to X0Y0, you set ghost effect. Set ghost effect to 100. You delete this part, go into here, when flat click forever. If HP is less than 1 or less than 0, then you repeat 10. You change the ghost effect by 10, minus 10. So when flat click is like this, when if HP is less than 0. So the screen will appear like this. Or you can make it appear slower. You repeat 10 thing, change the ghost effect by minus 5. And after that, you stop all. So you set HP to 100. Okay, so we will test it a bit. Okay, so now we will wait the until the enemy kills the player. So what this code basically does is that when the player dies, the death screen slowly appears, and it slowly appears because so it's sort of like this. Now, what we need is add some more enemies. So we will duplicate the enemies name it, we will call it, we'll make this enemy a bit faster and smaller. We'll change the color to around 50. We'll call it fast enemy. So for this, you wait 10 seconds, go to random position, create a clone of myself. Now you go to, if for the rocket part, um you move 20 steps. But before that, we need the screen to go to front. So you can see we'll wait for the blue enemy to start spawning. So you can see the blue enemy's pocket is pretty fast. So you set it to move 15 steps. While 0.5 seconds to exposition be random from -150 and 150 for Y position -150 to 150. Now, for the explosion, if costumes equals 3, you change side by side divided by 15. We want the explosion to be smaller. If touching player minus health by 0.1 or around 0.2. We want this enemy to like deal less damage but is faster. Okay, so now we need to make our player able to go upwards. So we sort of make sort of propulsion. So we'll name this mm, make our player able to dash effect. You go into this, copy the player costume, go back, and then you remove this, make the middle transparent, and you sort of change the outline color to 15. One flat click forever. If key space press or key Q, then before doing that, we need to add this plug. When flat click forever, go to player and you set ghost effect to 100. Forever change the ghost effect by around 10. If key Q if key Q press, then you set ghost effect to 0. Or now you need to change like change size. Change size by size divided by 10. So move the go to player into this, and before that, before the block go to player, you set size to 100%. Then you sort of repeat change size by 10. So we want our player to sort of like go in the direction of go in the direction of the mouse. So when it is click, we name another another variable called dash for all sprites. Had the dash variable set dash to 1. When flag click with dash equals 0, go to mouse pointer, set dash to 0. Okay, so I think we need to make another sprite called mouse 2. For this part, if dash equals 0, go to mouse pointer. Now for the player script, when dash equals 1, if I click forever, if dash equals 1, then you point towards the mouse pointer. You set this to no rotation. Set the rotation style, don't rotate. Point towards mouse pointer, then you repeat until touching mouse 2. Mouse 2, you move distance to you get move distance to mouse 2 divided by, for let's say, 10. So we can see a problem here. So what is our player doing? So we check the vertical velocity. Our player is sort of like, so yeah, we got this problem. If dash equals 1, then points towards mouse pointer, repeat until touching mouse 2, move distance to mouse 2 divided by 10 steps. Well, if dash equals 0, go to mouse pointer. So our player is sort of having some glitch. So we check the vertical velocity of horizontal velocity of our player. It is currently 0, but our player is sort of moving. So where is mouse 2? a player is sort of moving, glitching like this. So you change it into mouse to step. You set you set vertical velocity to 0. Okay. So now you repeat until repeat until repeat until oh wait, so we need to name like another variable player dash. Go to this part. No, go into here and flag click. No, you set is a player dash to 1. Okay, forever set player dash to 0. You go down here, repeat until player dash equals 1. Change size by size divided by 10. So you can see when dashing up here can sort of move, which means that a pair of can sort of like miss the mouse too. So when we do this, move distance to mouse 2 divided by 10 steps, you set horizontal velocity to 0. That so that our player sort of like have to dash and cannot move. Point towards mouse 2. However, you can see our player is still sort of avoiding the mouse 2. So for this part, you always point towards mouse 2. Or or you can say mouse 2 divided by 3 steps. That is a bit too fast. You set to divide it by 5 steps or around 8 divided by 8. Okay, so I think the perfect value is around 6. So our player can dash around like this a bit. So our player can sort of like avoid any projectiles, any rockets. Uh, so that is a bit too easy. So you sort of like make our enemies a bit harder to 0.56. So as you can see, our player can sort of like avoid but can still get hit. So so that is the perfect hard. Like it's hard enough, it's difficult enough for our player. So now use that goes to go back into my that goes to 100. So you got our game done. However, you can see our player is sort of touching the ceiling. So we make another block called when flag click forever if touching ceiling. When flag click if touching the ceiling, then you use the block touching ceiling. Running the screen refresh, move the touching ceiling block into here. Before the block define touching ceiling, you repeat until not touching ceiling. You change y by -1. Well, however, there is a problem. We need to make our mouse tool sprite bigger. And still, that is kind of too small for our player. So we need to like make it bigger than the ceiling. So for this, make it so that the player can touch. So you can see here, even if I dash towards the ceiling, the player can sort of still dash to the ceiling. However, there's another problem here. So we need to make our circle bigger so that even if we point towards the center, toward a corner of the screen, a player can still touch. So after all of that, you set goes effect to 100%. So you see our player can sort of dash around. So our player is sort of like flying right now. So now we need to have some sound effects. So we go to the website called Mixkit. Now you get some now you get some sort of like audios. So we search for sound effects. Search for explosion. So you choose the perfect explosion. You download a soundtrack and then you go into the enemy sounds. You upload sound, you have this sound. Now go into this part you start explosion sound. Now we need to do this for both enemies. We go into this, repeat 10, you start sound explosion. The sound is a bit too loud, so you sort of make it soft. So you sort of make it like this. Now we wait for our enemies to spawn. Okay, so now we need a sound when a player is sort of is shooting. But before that, we need to add a sound for our bombs. Also, add this sound here. Here, you start sound this. Okay, so we check our explosion. So that's the perfect sound. So now we go into the same website. We find bullet. So we search for it. Okay, so you get this, or you can check out the sound. Now we go to this part or add the sound we have downloaded. So if mouse down, click clone of myself into not mouse down. You start sound laser gunshot. So you got our sound for our player. Okay, now that we got this part now, we need to make sort of like for the dash effect also. So you go into this part at the laser effect that you just downloaded. You keep Q press start sound. Okay, now that we got the sound effect for sort or basically everything, we need to like when our enemy spawn, it creates a sort of a pulse. So we need to make add the sound for spawn effect also, which is spawn effect.
Minion. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Minions have spawned.
So there isn't really any sound that we like. So now we will sort of go into here, add we will sort of go into the sound. We add our sound effects. We search we search for the sound that we like. So we use this sound effect when I start as the clone. If costume number equals one, or if costume number equals two, starts down finger snap. And you go into the fast enemy part also. You add the sound finger snap. You start something snap ID here. So you see when a player spawns, it sort of create the spawning sound or finger snap sound. So yeah, that's basically all for this video. And in the next video, I will tell you how to add all the sound effect, how to add all the type of enemies, like for example some bots